Evening, everybody. It is 7:14, and this is your closing comment for today, Monday, the 17th. And it was kind of an interesting day. Stocks were basically higher. Dow was up 76. The big winner, though, was the Russell, up 20 for 1.05%. NASDAQ next up 131 and a quarter, 0.93. Um, the transports were actually down $2. They were down more, but they rallied back to up on the day and then just faded right at the close. S&P was up 1737, which is 0.39, and bringing up the rear was the Dow up 0.22. The VIX was also up about 14 cents, so nothing overwhelming there. Although, this rally is getting very long in the tooth, and I know you keep on hearing it, and I keep on saying it. Um, you know, Fortunately, we haven't taken any contrary positions. So, um, market internals today slipped back a little, 4-3 to the upside on the NYSE, 9-5 over on the Nasdaq. But volume came in pretty hard yesterday, the day before that. They were all 5.2 billion. Today was much better, or much closer to summer levels at 4.6 billion. The news overnight was the Chinese numbers. The GDP number came in at um, zero 0.8, which was way under what was expected. And Hong Kong was closed for a typhoon, so there was no support there either. Um, a couple of the stocks that I mentioned this morning, I just want to follow up. BBIO, that's the one that has the drug for cardiomyopathy. This morning, first of all, it had closed on Friday at 1822. This morning, it was as high as 32 and change. And when I did the morning call, it was 30, up 1178, or 65%. That continued through the day. It didn't make a new high, but it did close at 3216, which was up 1394, and that was 76%. Um, we also had uh, ABIO, Acumen, and this morning it had closed on Friday 628. This morning it was 14, fell back to 1260, which was up 632, or 100% at the end of the day today. It couldn't quite hold that. It closed at 940, up 320, or 50%. And Apellis, that's the one that had the poor results. It had closed at 84 and a half. Um, and this morning it had been down to 49 and change, but had rallied back and was trading at 57. It continued to the downside and closed at 52.20, down 32.30. So a big chunk. Um, as far as some of the other names today, Ford cut the price on their electric 150, F-150, and they really didn't like it. 14.12, down 86 cents, 5.8%. Tesla, on the other hand, gained 9 on the day. Uh, this is all about what they're going to have to do. And if people were concerned about Tesla's um, net profit at 28% margin, imagine what it's going to be like for Ford cutting the price $10,000. So it now still is not um, anywhere near mid-range. It starts at 49,000. instead of 59,000. We also had GM. I mean, Ford is number five. It's not even in the top three. GM is not as good as that. So, um, you know, tomorrow we have Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Chuck Schwab, Hasbro, Lockheed Martin, Novartis, and PNC all before the open. And then after the close, we have JBHT, JB Hunt, and Interactive Brokers, IBKR. Other stocks that were up today, we had, as I said, Tesla up 9, Apple up 330, Nvidia just keeps on moving. I actually don't know, I actually don't recall where it closed, so let me look. Nvidia, uh, let's see, 465.60, up 1091 or 2.4%. That means that from the day before they reported, a day where the stock had closed at 305, we've gone from 305 to a new high at 480. That's pretty amazing. And everybody's waiting for it to pull back, and yet it does not. We also have some numbers tomorrow. Again, at 8:30 we have retail sales. At 9:15 we have industrial production and capacity utilization. And then after the open at 10 we have business inventories and July NAHB housing market index. So we'll see what goes on there. Kind of interesting. Telephone, AT&T, now under $100 billion market cap, traded at its lowest price in 30 years. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The stock today, well, on Thursday, it was $15.17. On Friday, it closed at 14.5, and today it went down as low as 13.48. The last is 13.59. That's down 91 cents or 6.3%. What's interesting is this was not telephone alone. Verizon, same situation. A little over a week ago, the stock was trading at 37.68, closed Friday at 34.01. Today it got down to 31 and a quarter, closed 31.64, and that was down $2.37 or just under 7%. And Lumn, which was a stock that we owned forever, rode against it, and then finally took a loss on it. Lumn today closed at $1.73. That was down 12 cents. Now, what all three of these have in common is the fact that there's a new study that says that the lead insulation on the copper wire is hazardous to health and will have to be replaced. So, you know, they keep on focusing on these three names, but they don't manufacture the wire that they use. I can't imagine they do. And yet nobody has come up with a name or an idea of who they all bought this stuff from that now has to be remediated. So we'll have to see how that goes. But it's been a long, I mean, Lumn, by the way, owns something that I can't believe is not worth substantially more than $1.73, and that's Level 3 Communications, which is basically a fiber supplier I shouldn't say it quite like that. It's a fiber network, a backbone network for high speed internet. Stuff that's already in apartment buildings, etc. Um, I just can't imagine it's not worth more than the $1.73, but that's what we hear. Okay, chart on the screen is the wheat. A couple of weeks ago, the wheat had a day where it was rallying and had closed at 746, and the next day got up as high as 770 and closed on the low, and then just collapsed. I mean, 770 got down to 640. What happened here is we made a really nice bottom, stopped right where we should have. I know Dennis got long that day. And since then, we had higher high, higher low, and up 21 cents a bushel, which is not insubstantial. That's $1,000 per contract. And then today got as high as 689 and change. So 690, and then it got all the way down to 637 and closed at 653. The story here is that the Russian Federation had a deal with Ukraine to allow them to deliver grain, primarily wheat, which is why I'm using that, even though there was a blockade in the Black Sea. Russia said that that expires on Monday and that they will not be allowing those deliveries, which is kind of an interesting question here. Everybody was concerned about supply. Now they're going to have to get rid of supply however they can, and the price will get crushed, especially in Europe. They can take it across land, but it was a huge disappointment, and it showed all the way through all of the grains. Um, Soybeans were actually up a little; they don't grow any there. But we had the wheat, we had the corn down, we had the hard wheat. The only one that was up really was oats, up 2 cents a bushel, and canola. In any event, these are really problems for them. Oil was down about $1.25 today on those soft China numbers. Nat gas was down 3 cents. Gold was down $8. Silver down a couple of cents. Bitcoin down just under 300. The dollar started to the upside this morning, came back in, closed down 8 cents, and the bonds were up an eighth of a point. All right, everyone, I'll be back first thing in the morning with those bank numbers.